You must not let them linger, for they will never quit. Bring this on myself. Nobody else. Tear me up.
easily.
Yeah, I don't know. This lives now in my head. If it's true or not, I don't know, but this is in my head now. It's a head canon.
Ah,
We're live.
excellent. Welcome everybody to another session of Pathfinder second edition with the Golden Lines. Um,
Redlands.
yes. One word of advice to everybody: I am in the middle of changing my meds, so I may be extra silly and nonsensical today. But we are still going to make it the best little session we've ever had. And to do that, we'll start with a recap from the mighty Maringana, aka Tasha.
Oh, hey. Yeah, there has a lot has happened last session. Like two pages of session notes, so I'll try to be as concise as can. Last time, Lyle took over the inn that has now no owners due to Katya and Cedric finally resting forever. He had help from Rain and Tasha over the next weeks before the wedding to help out with the whole bartending and serving stuff. Efrag went to Korun to honor the funeral of the Duke's father, together with Alida, and he told several people of us to take a 72-hour leave, which most people did. Victor went to Ayabek to set up a chapel of tourists. Tasha drowned herself in work, but finally got around. Ida did take her leave with Belly Tumbler and had a wild romantic weekend in the wild, I suppose. Tasha got spell books and promised to send her best apprentice mage William Kasischbetzler to the bridge as support. Evrak returned with Baldegunde, who now is wearing an eye patch and Corini's noble clothing, seeming to have gone into more roguey business lately. What else? Gunde told Tasha a lot about a guild of assassins that seemed to be tasked to take down champions of Aller, and that they need to keep an eye open, as well as relationship business, concluding in both of them agreeing on the fact that Armand is too stiff and definitely needs someone to, pick him up a little bit. Lyle was talking to the Bard, and the Bard was heavily trying to get into Lyle's pants, sort of, which he reacted with, by not reacting to it, I suppose. Rain started a garden for the hospital that is magically pretty huge and amazing, and helps people to heal up and relax. Before 2 days before the wedding, we found, oh god, there's so much that happened. We got guests in form of, as turned out later, King Nice and Queen Illyriel, who found out that there's a lot of primal magic going on around Luisenthal. Also, the King of Rakathum himself decided to come with a quite considerable force of dwarves that smashed through not an ambush, but a force of, I think, 2,000. Pretty many gobbles. I think it was hobgoblins, orcs, trolls, and whatever. And that was maybe trying to crash the wedding under the lead of what was her name? The commander of the formerly lone Lions of Brigan, now being a cleric of the Death Lord. She just doesn't seem to give up. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think we stopped with talking to the King of Rakathum. I think it's King Constantine and King Nice and Queen Illyriel about all the fateful business with our weapons and so on. There was a lot of lore drops. Yeah. The rest can now fill in whatever I forgot, please. Thanks.
Right, please throw the ball at one of them.
Quinn.
Baldagunda popped her eye out and was watching people with it, which is kind of neat. There was not much for the ways of whammo. There's like 14 super high-titled nobles running around our tiny little hamlet. We're about to have a cool-ass wedding. And there's a dragon nearby. Shion.
Yeah, the garden that Rain started to build kind of got out of hand, one could say, somehow being connected to the forest outside of Louisenthal. And yeah, we are getting swarmed by nobles and royalty, which kind of overwhelms Rain a bit, as she's definitely not used to that. But she will manage, I think, thanks to Tasha, who got her back. Ida.
Yeah, so I will neither confirm nor deny that Bellatumber and I had a brilliant 3-day date in the forest. We had lots of royalty incoming. Ida hopes that there are more nobles incoming for the wedding itself. She's happy that Baldagunde is back and had built her own homestead on the outskirts of Louisenthal, where she has asked Bellytumbler to move in with her. And he also became a knight as well. Something can't have an officer dating a sergeant or something, says the captain who is dating a corporal.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, we discussed our dreams and the weapons, and we now probably know a bit more than we used to. Lyle.
Yeah, I spent most of the time in the kitchen. I definitely did a lot of that. The eyeball on the stairs was definitely a point that I remember very vividly. Apparently I have this way of just like hanging out with kings and calling them like first name basis and stuff of this nature. I'm just like, hey, what's up, bro? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm like king, nobility, loyal, and I'm like, oh hey. Whoops. I think you guys pretty much summed it all up though. I can't think of anything different that we didn't bring up already. So we'll throw it to Shion.
I give it to Bonti. As I already said something, not much, but yeah.
I was listening.
You about covered everything. I thought people were going to forget about me knighting Sir Billy Tumble. I did take off for 2 weeks to twofolds, to go to the funeral and to find Baragumba. That was my goal. And I guess I saved her from some assassins in my reign of glory. We got too many royalty here. Last thing, I asked Ida to take a walk with me, headed out to the tavern because I needed some air. And I think everyone else covered mostly everything. I don't think there's anything left. Other than Alita, when I saw her dad, was all she could say was, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. But I guess it worked out better than she expected. Pass it over to the game master.
Yeah, and I'm glad you do, because I only have one small correction to your recollections. When the bard was desperately trying to get Lyle to bed with her, he was actually not his usual nonchalant self. He was more like, oh, I can hear my mother calling me. And she's like, wait, isn't she on another continent? And Lyle was like, oh yeah, that's definitely her, gotta go. And then he sprinted into the kitchen, so not quite as nonchalant as usual. Other than that, I feel you covered most of it.
Someone miffed that Lyle did not romance the bard.
No, that was friggin' hilarious, and we should clip it and have it as one of our top clips on the channel. But yes, it is the day before the wedding. Early in the morning, sun is barely popping over the mountains and starting to light up the village. So I'm interested in what y'all are doing, and we will start with Victor.
Victor is preparing for this ritual he's about to perform.
Excellent. So he's busy preparing. Lady Briar is with him, dressed in her brand new full plate armor that she's been gifted as a wedding gift to the new barony by the King of Rakarthum. With only a few, you can still see her magical, well, not magical, but clockwork arm, bone clockwork arm. Because, well, they weren't aware of that, so they are making some last-minute adjustments to the armor. Smoking a pipe, drinking some black bean brew. And generally enjoying herself. What is Rain doing?
She will ask Ida and Tasha. I don't really have clothes for such an occasion. You think you could help me to pick something out?
You're
Of course.
awfully early with that. Just saying.
Yeah, I know. Wasn't sure I would really be able to attend.
Why not?
Well, I'm not really accustomed to such things, and with so many people in a big city.
This is not a big city.
It is for me.
You should see Hollow Faust.
Or Lightbridge.
Well,
Yeah, we'll take you shopping.
I mean, maybe we can, if we can find, or if we can find anything good, maybe we can just alter some of our noble clothes that we took to Albanath. Yeah, we still have
I
a lot
have
of.
a huge wardrobe upstairs. That's gonna be no problem.
Yeah, I mean, I have a bigger wardrobe that contains clothes I don't like to wear than I would like to, and I'm happily giving away any of it. Yeah, let's go. Let's go shopping.
Thanks.
Do you have anything particular in mind?
Well, I thought about a dress actually, but a dress is always so difficult when I'm flying.
What about a tuxedo?
A tuxedo.
Yes.
Hmm. That could work. I never thought about that.
I know for a fact that our seamstress have had a lot of practice of making stuff for winged people the last couple of weeks, as she fixed most of my wardrobe up again. So she can manage, probably.
Yeah, having someone know what how to sew things for wings is definitely an advantage. Most people just cut some holes in it.
Yeah, that's not good enough.
I think things for wings are mostly good if you can close them on the side, I suppose. So you can just slip into like a jacket. I don't know, Ida, you're a specialist for that.
We still haven't found the most. I do have some trouble getting my corsets on these days. But with openings in the sides, and if you have it laced down under the wings, so you can just pull it over and along the wings. That's the best for now, at least.
As you're speaking, the door to the inn opens, and a huge fellow, now dressed in. Well, there's a lot of metal plates there, but you also have cuffs and pants that are extravagantly puffy, with slits in them in a different color than the outer layer, and a cornet helmet with 3 feathers in the colors of the barony. He's also got a brand new flamberge greatsword slung over his shoulder as Belly Tumbler enters in what looks a lot like a medieval Landsknecht or papal guard armor. Slightly blushing, looking down at his armor. Well, it fits quite well, but you can't tell me this is the fashion on the continent at the moment. I feel like a peacock.
You do look amazing, though.
I look like one of Lyle's desserts, the fancy ones.
Well, those are delicious.
I am quite sweet, he says with a grin as he walks over to the breakfast buffet and assaults the eggs, bacon, and black bean brew.
If you drink all of the black bean brew, I'm gonna be miffed. Yeah, eat the bacon,
crunch.
that's good.
Right. Speaking of, what is Mr. Lyle doing at the moment?
So I do believe I will busy myself in the kitchen, cooking whatever beast that Illyriel brought home last time. And just setting up for, I want to make a big feast for this wedding. So you can hear Lyle yelling from the kitchen, and anyone smart doesn't go anywhere near that door.
Yeah, Illyriel has helped, and some extra cooks have been brought in from the kingdoms to help out with what is turning out to be a much bigger wedding, although Lyle is still king of the kitchen. And the young green dragon that Illyriel brought in is actually being slow roasted in a fire pit that's been dug in the back outside of the kitchen, where it's going to need at least 26 hours to get the proper tenderness before the wedding. Mr. Evrock himself.
Well, during the night, you didn't realize it. Alita and I eloped, and we're no longer around the area. I wouldn't do that to you, Shago.
You have no idea how many players have concealed security on you for just that sort of situation.
I know. I can't go anywhere without being seen by someone. Or
So,
something.
what is Evrock doing this fine morning?
Well, I'm heading down with Alita to the forge. Because part of the wedding ceremonies, we have to forge our wedding bands together as the final part of the wedding ceremony. I don't know if we can do it to dragon scale. That may be too tough of a metal to work with. But I'm sure we can find some gold or even electrum or whatever just to... Again, it's one of the final steps of the dwarven wedding ceremony. Still wondering who's going to marry us. No one's approached me. So I'm going to have a brief chat with a leader about why this. I don't know why there's so much royalty here for little old me. I hate being the interest, I guess, to put it, or the focal point of everybody all of a sudden. It gets me a little nervous. And I also have to say I'll have to depart and not see, and I'll be seeing in about 24 hours. Well, then we'll head over to my clan with mom and dad, because I know they're going to be, especially mom, fetching all over me and making sure I look just right. Oh, parents. That's about what I'm doing. That's about all I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah, all of that is gonna fly, except leaving the city. There's so much security with so many
Village.
leaving the village. There's so much security with so many high-ranking members of the Alarian Church that leaving the city walls is just gonna get you tackled, hogtied, and carried back.
There's still the monster, and I can steam it.
Yep, the monster is actually in the outside of the village in the lake, setting up something that King Nice and Queen Liriel call fireworks that you've actually never seen or heard of before. But they're talking about that it's gonna look it's gonna look cool without magic.
So every time I look around, how many people I'm going to be staring, and following me?
Well,
You're not going to see mine.
surprisingly enough, there's not too many staring at you yet because most people are extremely busy repainting their houses and doing all sorts of things to make make Louisenthal look as nice as possible for the wedding tomorrow. And as Lyle is working in the kitchen, out of one of his pantries, two tall, quite tan humans with black hair, clad in serious black fine clothing. The man is probably around 6 feet. Hair going into a widow's peak. Handsome royal face with like the imperial nose and wearing what we today would know as an 18th century suit with a cloak over it, held together by a pendant with a red ruby, black cloak with red silk inner lining, walking with a cane.
They came out of my pantry.
Yep.
I'm just
And
gonna
his
look. I'm just
companion
gonna look.
is a beautiful woman with a quite low-cut, revealing dress that seems very, very expensive. Most of her upper body, and there's a lot of it visible, more than would be considered appropriate on this continent, but being from the Ebon Coast, Lyle recognizes them as Hollowfausters, who are, well, widely known for their fairly progressive and liberal um, thoughts on clothing in general. If I were to describe her, think like Winnowill from ElfQuest, for those of you who've seen that. For those of you who haven't, somebody should find a link and drop that in the chat. They just walk out of your pantry. Slight smell of ozone in the air. Looks around the kitchen. Seem to nod approvingly at the level of cleanliness before you. Excuse me, good sir. I am looking for my niece, Duchess Tasha.
What are you doing in here? Get an apron. Aren't you cooking? Like, get to work. We got things to do today.
Ah, cooking, yes. We shall endeavor to help. And both of them kind of just wave their hands around a bit, and pots and pans are now floating around in the kitchen, and the floor is being mopped by a mop that's working on its own. And it's gone all Disney in there as they walk out of the kitchen.
Bye.
and into the common room where they can see where they will meet Tasha, Rain, and Ida.
So I take it I know these people.
Only very, very fleetingly.
Okay.
You recognize Tasha's aunt and uncle, or as Tasha always have known them, Senator Marwan Almasi of the Holocaust Senate, and his wife, and also professor of abjuration at the Holocaust College of Magic, Amira Safar.
Almira
They walk
Safar.
out. I'll drop those names in the chat for you.
So that, but they are direct aunt and uncle, or are they further away related?
Oh no, they are direct aunt and uncle.
Oh
They
I was
will-
boy.
thinking we're gonna go with Forest. Oh right.
They walk out of the kitchen as you're starting to get used to the people doing. Surprisingly enough, in the small moment you see the door open behind them, you can see a mop just mopping the floor without anybody actually holding it.
Okay. Tasha's gonna she's gonna sink deeper into her whatever she's sitting on, like almost without knowing that she's doing that. She's like, oh no, did you invite them, Ida?
I did not invite anyone from Holocaust. I think. Trying to think back at the stacks of letters I sent. Nope, not Holocaust.
Someone you know?
Family.
Oh, they're your family. And she springs up, flies over. Hello, nice to meet you. I heard you're Tasha's family. Well, she's over here. My name's Rain.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Rain. I am Marwan, and this is my wife, Amira.
So I guess you've come to see the wedding as well?
Yes, it was. We received a letter from an acquaintance of our niece. We assume he must be her boyfriend or something, since he is inviting us to this wedding. Where is this Armand?
Did you say Armand invited you here, aunt and uncle?
Why, yes.
Ah, well, it is very nice that you could make it. I am very happy to see you. Is there anything I can offer you?
Well, you could start by giving your aunt a hug.
Of course. Tasha's gonna walk over and, give one of these awkward hugs where she's barely touching her aunt's back.
Yeah, and the aunt moves in and gives Tasha the sort of full body hug. You usually don't see anybody with that low cut a dress give somebody they're not married to.
Well, since you're here, it is best we find good quarters for you, no? Will my parents arrive as well, or are you the only ones of the family?
So we are the representatives of the family for this wedding. Your parents, they must have neglected to write. They took a position with the opera.
Thank the gods. I mean, well, how unfortunate. Well, I'm very happy that at least you could make it. Let me find some good quarters for you. And she would try to find good rooms for the both of them. Don't know how well Louisenthal is, or the inn is, on rooms to, for all the guests. She's gonna for now not address the whole opera thing, even though she knows what it means. And she's like just playing along and being like, mm-hmm.
Oh, do not worry about rooms. We did bring our own, he says, and nods down to one of the rings he's wearing on his hand.
Ah, yes. As per usual, you're well prepared. It has definitely advantages to know magic really well.
Yes, from what we hear of your exploits, you are making quite the name for yourself.
Well, I'm still learning, of course.
But we must always be learning. The moment you feel you have stopped learning, well, you have stopped living, have you not?
Well, considering that we are all from Hollowfaust, I guess if we ever
Please.
stop living there.
Duchess, introduce us to your friends. And your aunt puts her hand down into the very small clutch purse she is carrying and pulls out 4 bottles of Hollowfast wine that she places on the table.
Well, this here's Rain. We only met her very recently. She's a wonderful being and is taking good care of the hospital gardens and also is bartending here in the inn. And this is Ida, my best friend, almost sister. And she's pretty awesome, and I hope that you will be kind to her.
Yeah, they both bow very deeply in front of Ida. Ah, yes, the graveyard roses are very highly respected in Hollowfast.
Welcome.
Then Tasha's aunt looks at her and like, oh dear, it must either be cold here or after you moved over to this continent you must have gotten dreadfully boring. Come, let us find you a more suitable dress in my wardrobe. What are your rooms?
I don't. But
I do believe I have the most beautiful thing that is made of lace and backless and strapless that would suit you perfectly.
I already do have a wedding outfit, dear aunt. But I
Wedding
appreciate the
outfit?
effort.
No, I was just thinking
Well,
about
not
today.
my wedding, but what do you mean today? It's a normal day. I don't dress in lace every day.
You
I'm
should.
working.
A figure like that, it is an insult to the gods to hide it as much as you do.
Sure. How about we walk to the observatory and you can at least show me the dress, and I might keep it.
Ah, that sounds like a wonderful idea. Please show us around this little city of yours.
Well, I guess Ida will be going shopping alone.
I am kind of tempted to follow to see where this is going. I look to Tasha to see if she gives a sign for me to follow or not.
She does. She looks at Rain when she says that, like, "Oh, aren't you just the most delightful little creature? So vital and." I do think I have something we can resize for you easily.
Well, I guess shopping is now cancelled.
I am definitely coming with them.
Tasha is very much trying to keep her continence for now. She's gonna give him a tour though. She's gonna give him a small tour.
So leaving the inn, you can hear your uncle and the pop of a wine cork. So, an ogre, eh? How's that working out for you? As you exit the building.
Not that it's any of your business, but very, very well.
Oh no, he's talking to Belly Thunder. They seem to be sharing a meal. Right, as Everock's walking about town, one of the
Constantly looking over my shoulder.
Well, one of the hobgoblin sergeants kind of materializes next to Evrock. He's not quite sure how they do that, but they are very stealthy, even considering the fact that they're now in plate mails instead of a leather. They just seem to have a talent for it.
A fair warning, Sergeant. With the assassination attempts on me, don't do that because I may accidentally swing on you.
Oh, I am so.
Just give me a little heads up. You almost come close to getting or startling me.
I am sorry, Shogun. I forgot that we are
What
more
is it,
silent
Sergeant?
than you are used to. The Duke Hammerstein's party will be arriving within the next quarter of a bell. We can see them exiting the forest now.
Excellent. I'll meet him at the gate. Or actually, I'll go right out in the goat and meet him.
Yeah, I mean, it's barely 500 meters or, 250 refrigerators in US units from the forest edge to the gate.
Yeah, I'll mount the goat and head out. If they let me.
Oh yeah, they let you. They just ask several questions so that at the point where you actually get to the gate, the Duke is entering it.
You know, you guys can prevent me from doing my job as a Baron to greet our guests. Stop it. Or I will make sure I put you on latrine duty for the next 2 months.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Baron. The Duke is arriving clad in the ducal, this time, the ducal full plate of his dukedom, a very, very beautifully engraved mithril plate, riding a very large warhorse.
I will bow to him as proper respect. Welcome again, Duke.
Baron Evrock, my friend, you don't need to bow to me.
You are a guest in my barony. I will bow to you out of respect.
It is in that case, he says, and gets down and bows as well. I will bow to a Knight Lieutenant of Aller myself.
Touche.
Please allow me to introduce you to my new wife. He nods over to his companion clad in a very highly decorated traveling gown. Long black curls falling like waterfalls down her shoulders. She is a quite pale woman, with piercing blue eyes. Smiles and inclines her head at Evrock. This is my new wife, my friend, Duchess Nadia Hammerstein.
Duchess, welcome to Louisenthal.
It is my pleasure to be here.
Geez, a lot has happened since I last saw you, Duke.
Well, my friend, you cannot stay unwed for long. It is not fitting.
I understand. Can't even walk without anyone seeing me trying to. I can't even escape if I wanted to.
Ah, yes. The joys of noble birth and position.
I am not of noble birth, Duke.
No,
I'm just a fighter.
the joy of noble birth is being used to it from the start. You get a running start.
Oh, you know your way. You know your way around Louisenthal. So I must seek out my other guest.
Of course. And he looks over to one of the knights and, please, have the wedding presents delivered to It was a Sergeant Belly Tumbler.
He is actually Sir Belly Tumbler now. He's a second knight of Lion's Haven. I knighted him a month ago.
Ooh,
As defender of Lion's Haven.
quite the excellent choice.
He's
must see.
defended. He's defended this hamlet several times, and I am. Plus, he was fraternizing with an officer, and we can't have that. You know that.
He just gives you a knowing smile before riding off.
But Baron, what's this about wedding gifts? I thought the wedding gifts was the bridge.
Oh yes, that was the better wedding gift for the barony. And then we have the personalized wedding gifts for you and your nobles.
Thank you, Baron. Thank you, Duke.
You can barely hear her wife, hear his wife whisper to him that we did bring the book of etiquette as a gift, didn't we? And he just imperceptibly nods. Volumes 1 through 17.
Where did I put that ladder?
And yeah, you can hear from the forge, Evrock's mother as well, speaking to the dwarven smiths, like, okay, everybody, I know we have 17 different kinds left, but we need to finish the forks before lunch, so we can get started on the spoons.
I will casually walk down to my mother.
Right.
Tasha would like to have a word with her relatives about this whole Oprah thing.
Yes, at the moment, you have shown your aunt around. And after you were done and got to the observatory, she pretty much just pulled a door frame out of her purse, and this was the four of you have walked through it straight into her personal wardrobe, which is about the
That's
size of the
extra.
observatory.
Yeah, I gotta say that if there is one thing that I regret about not going the whole wizard stuff way, it is that I never managed to pull off these things, and probably never will.
Don't sell yourself short, niece. The talent you have for magic, this will be nothing for you in 100 years or so.
Great. I will not live 100 years, though.
Oh, of course you will, silly girl. You're the new Duchess.
Okay, that brings me to the point. Why am I the new Duchess? Why did my parents suddenly go to the whole opera business?
Well, you know, your mother has always been very interested in the opera, and your father was always a big supporter of the arts. After they assisted in hunting down a rogue member of the Black Watch, a rogue commander of the Black Watch, to be more specific, a few months ago, they were offered a permanent position at the opera. As you well know, one of the greatest honors Holofaust can give you. And, well, the title of Duchess or Duke is for the last living member of the family, as they are technically not, by those rules, considered living any longer. You are now the Duchess.
What about my brothers and sisters, though? Why are they not becoming duchesses and dukes?
Well, if you go into subclause 14b, part 3, it is the most powerful spellcaster of the last living relatives.
What? That's a mistake. All of them have made it into the stupid academy and have all their high marks and recommendations and getting married to all the fancy people. I'm just a rogue child of that family. I'm definitely not the most powerful of them.
Now, Tasha, I know you don't like the academy, but you don't need to speak about my place of work like that. And no, while they are quite skilled in magical theory, they don't seem to have the natural talent that you
Well,
have.
Wizards usually don't have the natural talent. That's why they have to learn.
Well, let us just say that your eldest brother has so far failed Infernal 3 times, and is facing expulsion from the academy if he does not succeed on his last attempt.
He's not gonna like it.
Well, he did get very involved with some extracurricular student activities, like women and alcohol.
Yeah, that sounds like Bosch. Yeah, sounds like him. He's still a very skilled man, though.
Oh, yes. I do believe he will have a bright future in the magical brewing field once he realizes his intellectual limitations.
Hmm. Well, then,
Now, for Rain here, we have this beautiful 2-piece thing that I think will show off your slim waist very nicely, and she dives back into the lace.
Is that any?
Most of the outfits that she has recommended for you so far would make an Abernathian or Coronese Lady of the Night blush and refuse to wear it publicly. But it seems to be high Holocaust fashion.
You got anything that says more? Hey, I'm a druid. Because I am.
I do think we have something that young Tasha wore as a child to the
good
opera,
grief. Why would
made
you
of
have something like this with you?
leaves.
It can be made of clothes. It's just I'm not sure I'm fit for the style of Holocaust.
Ah, poppycock. You wear this to the kitchen to ask for seconds, and that young man that demanded we start peeling potatoes will be asking for your hand in marriage before you're done with your sentence.
If you're talking about Lyle, I have to disappoint you. That's not how he rolls.
Oh, he's from the Ebon Coast. I recognize the dialect. You know Ebon Coasters. The way to their heart is through a bare midriff.
I will have to think about that one.
Or, of course, we can go down to the tailors and they will have anything you wish made for you in a few hours.
I think I prefer that. Thank you very much.
I'm sure we can make it work.
We shouldn't go for something that's matching, though. We were asked to be bridesmaids. Right now, we have completely different dresses.
That's true.
Perhaps we should get the bride in on this.
I think that would probably be the wisest, yes. Let's ask Alida what she prefers.
Yeah. Exiting the door, your aunt puts it back into her clutch. And you, looking over, you're now in your private rooms on the 3rd floor of the observatory. You see Baldegunda sitting, wrapping a bleeding wound in her upper arm.
Couldn't know what happened.
Gather around.
You want me to take a look at that?
Feel free, Rain.
Tell us what happened. Tasha's gonna come close.
Okay. But Alida and Evra cannot know this. It's gonna ruin their entire wedding.
Of course.
She nods over to your one dresser, or what do you call the the cabinets you put
Armoire.
clothing in, where you can see a steady stream of blood pouring out.
Assassins?
Yes. I open it to get a hat, and instead I get stabbed before I manage to stab him right back.
What would they want in the observatory, though, if they are hunting for champions of valor?
Take out us first and then go for the Baron. He is very well protected at the moment.
Black Tarantula have been hunting me since Corin. They've got something to do with the conspiracy against the Alarian priesthood.
I'll go tell my people to be vigilant and that we've seen one, and where there's one, there's more. Always.
Already done, ma'am.
Good.
While you're talking, your aunt sweeps past like, "Oh, it's the warrior princess. That is the girlfriend of Tashi." Okay. She looks at Baldegunda and sweeps her up in a big hug and like, "Oh, it's good to see that my little Tosh Tosh has found herself a strong and fierce protector and lover."
I would very much appreciate it if you could just call me by my usual name, Aunt.
Ah, yes. My apologies, Duchess. She gives a little bow before walking over to the closet and opening it up. You can see a halfling with black skin, lots of tattoos, clad in a fairly high quality leather armor, lying there dead. Your aunt just steps back and like, "Come on, don't lie around. Tut tut." And the body walks out onto the floor.
Yeah.
Looks over to you and looks at Ida. "You are the spy master. You have 3 questions before the spirit is uncooperative."
How many of you are there?
There are 6 in my cell.
Who sent you?
My master, Alonso.
I look to Baldegunda to see if she has any questions. She is more into this conspiracy than I am at the moment.
"Why were you here?" Bolligund asks. And he points to the ceiling. to paint that. As a glyph starts glowing. You can hear shouts of surprise and fear from outside as the wind that's been blowing in from the lake suddenly stops. For the rest of you, you can see 5 shafts of light shoot up into the sky from different places in the village and start forming a dome.
That's not good.
No, that's not good. Can you dispel that, Aunt?
He looks at it. Not in time. Not alone. Not without your uncle.
Shit.
This is high magic.
What will happen if that stuff connects?
Will be locked in with whatever that stuff summons.
We need to warn the others.
Yes, we need to get going. We need to fetch Uncle.
I throw myself out the window.
Yep. Tasha's just gonna run for the inn, hoping that she might still be able to at least fetch her uncle to help out with dispelling the glyph.
I'm guessing I'm there before Tasha.
Yeah, Arena Ida throws herself out, realizes that the winds in Louisenthal are completely different now that it's locked behind a dome. Almost crashes down into the smithy, where she can see Evrog standing outside talking to his mother, and she's like, "Yes, we do need all the 25 different forks. You are a baron now."
Sir, take a look up.
What do you want?
Just look up.
We're in trouble.
We're being sealed inside.
Uncle, I need you and Aunt to take a look at this and dispel it if you can.
Yes, your uncle is hurrying out of the inn together with Belly Tumbler, and you can hear surprised cursing from Lyle in the kitchen as his connection with the forest is suddenly cut off.
I'm gonna come out and see what's going on.
Yeah, first thing you see is a hawk high up, suddenly splattering itself against a dome that's visible for half a second before the bird on the inside just kind of incinerates into dust and falls down.
Is this some kind of like wedding gift or something? What's going on out here?
We're under attack. I say while I try to land, but aim for Belly Tumbler in case I can't.
Yeah, Belly Tumbler grabs Ida before she ends up in the green dragon roasting pit.
I kiss him on the cheek, thanks.
Yeah, he just places her on his left shoulder. Oh, what is love? You're spicy enough as is.
Does anybody know why this is happening or what's going on?
We caught an assassin in Balagunda's room. He and 6 others were painting glyphs around the village, it looks like.
I mean, can we destroy the glyphs? I don't know anything about magic.
I think Tasha is talking to her uncle and aunt about it now.
Yeah, they look at Tasha like, please, join us in examining this thing. We have been in Hollowfaust without traveling much for the last century. Your worldliness would be an asset.
I will join you. Tasha's grabbing the stuff. I mean, she always has the stuff with her these days, but she's grabbing it with her hands and making for the next glyph or the next. I mean, can you discern where the next glyph is?
Looking at, as she grabs the staff, both of them seem slightly awestruck for a moment.
I'll try to help you. I'm not sure I can, but I'll try.
Gather
If-
what magic users we have.
If this is a summoning circle, we might have to evacuate people.
You see that the closest other glyph is actually in the church tower of Victor's church, it seems.
Those bastards. Let's go for that one. Quick.
Yeah, running that way, you hear the crashing of glass as the Lady Briar and a black-clad halfling come out of one of the church windows. She's like, "That'll teach you to try to backstab my boyfriend!" The halfling is still fighting, but you can see that she's rotating the assassin so that it's getting perilously close to Belly Tumbler having its back. And with a short, brutal moment, he moves up with his newly heavily armor-plated foot and steps on him.
Nice. I say sitting still on my shoulder.
And you enter the church seeing a slightly baffled Victor, who was just a moment ago going through vows and now has a black tarantula dagger sticking just enough into the backplate of his armor to be stuck, but not enough to actually poison him.
Can't even work in peace these days.
I'm running toward our leader's house, sword drawn.
Right. And I'm going to have to excuse ourselves, but we do need to take a short break. I'm, as mentioned at the start of the stream, just in the middle of changing meds, so I'm just going to need to gather my thoughts for about 10 minutes and make a cup of coffee before we can continue.
Good plan. You go for it.
knock. Coco arrests me. Waiting for the knock to knock me out. Waiting for the knock to knock me out. Waiting for the knock. Coco arrests me. Catch a freight train rolling for free. This mojo will never come clean. On the fence, you're begging on my knees. I'll never know the truth behind why you've arrested me.
Good to go.
Right. So, entering the church tower, Tasha and her uncle and aunt, I'm going to need I will buy a wow, please.
Need a what?
I'm gonna need an Arcana or a lore check from Mistress Tasha.
That's gonna go so well. Maybe it does. Cannot get much higher than this.
Right. So I will be sending you a PM while we let the other characters react a bit, so that I have a moment to write. Take it away, Ida.
I'm gonna take flight from Bellytumbler's shoulder and try to get used to the new winds and get a look around the village.
Okay.
I'm
Mr.
gonna-
Victor. Or Miss Lyle.
I'm gonna take a look at the body and see if there's anything different on the corpse or anything of that nature. And I'm gonna have Tonka scouting around to see if he can find any other trouble throughout the town, like separate from us.
Right. The gear and the clothing they're wearing is from the same continent as the Ebon Coast and Hollowfaust. They have the short, heavy stabbing knives, typical of the half pirate nations to the southwest of the Ebon Coast, where the Black Tarantula Guild itself is established. But the coin he's finding in their pouches, it's weird. It's made of copper and bronze mostly. Copper coins still being common, but bronze coins, he's more uncertain where you'd actually find that as legal tender. And they're also a diamond-shaped, quite thick bronze coins.
I wonder if one of the dwarfs in Evrog's father's party would know anything about these coins. Do any of you guys recognize these?
Do I know anything with a 19 society?
Well, it's not from your home continent, but you've heard of bronze coins being used a lot by slavers, and it's a lot more in that region of the world. Your continent, Friedrichstadt, is a lot closer to the continent with the Ebon Coast and Hollowfaust than the continent you're on now. And at least in the southern part of where Friedrichstadt and Grandes is located, criminal elements sometimes use this type of bronze coinage. But it's not legal tender in any country, and it's often illegal to actually be found with it. Could get you jail time, or if you're unlucky, executed.
It's a coin for transferring between criminal organizations, like favors between the two, between multiple groups.
So nothing really strange about it then, honestly. Probably just tender from whoever hired them to come here in the first place. I think we should definitely scout out each one of these glyphs, though, and make sure everybody's safe. I don't know if I can't help with any of the glyphs or any of this magic mumbo jumbo. Everybody knows that, so I think I would be better off scouting around and looking to see if I can find any trouble.
Yeah, Evrock bursts into his home to see King Nice healing Alida from a wound she's taken to the back, and there's a halfling assassin with 17 arrows sticking out of his front. Not lying on the floor, but actually pinned to the wall like a butterfly would be in a collection, only with a lot more pins than usually needed.
I'm heading to Alida first.
Yeah. She rises, looking completely unharmed. Glad I wasn't wearing the wedding dress.
Sorry to break customs, but maybe you and I should have eloped. Maybe this wouldn't have happened.
Or if we'd eloped, we'd be out of town, unable to help anybody. At least now we can armor up, and that is how we first met.
That is true. So I take it this halfling pin against the wall is dead.
Looking at Queen Illyriel, who at the moment seems to be availing her of your ham and cheese. She just looks at him, nods. You can see that her quiver seems equally full, as always, even though there's almost a quiver's worth of arrows just pinning the halfling to the wall. Like, I tried to shoot pretty, which, when you pull the arrows out, it should leave a nice little, sort of a drawing. The marks in the wall.
Find the bloodstains, of course, right?
Well, if they seep in just right, it should kind of shade the drawing, so you just have to wash off the outer parts of the blood, and you'll have yourself a nice city emblem there. If I remembered it correctly. She says, and you see Nice just smirking and kind of shaking his head the way old married couples do.
Why on my wedding day? It'll take 24 hours before my wedding day. So is Alida okay?
Oh yeah. Nice has healed me from lots worse damages than that.
Well, I have to go check out everyone and find out what's going on. King Nice, Queen, I don't think I have to worry about you not taking care of yourselves.
We'll help out where we can.
Thank you. I'm busting out the door trying to find what the hell's going on here.
Yeah, Rain is flying into the hospital where she finds one glyph in not the basement, but the one on the other side of the building. You know, vertically.
Up the stair, the top
Yes.
top floor.
On the top floor, on the loft. Thank you. My brain is not braining good today.
I'm not
Just
sure my brain did a better job right there.
Are you all? Is everyone all right? Did anyone get hurt?
Yeah, we're fine. Dr. Armand punched that guy, and he points to probably a halfling assassin that Rain can confirm is deceased on account of his forehead having been punched in. And then he shouted something about the jester and disappeared.
I still don't know who the jester is, but as long as everyone here is fine.
You can hear one of the patients, so like, isn't that like his wife or something? I don't know. But yeah,
I
he was
see
painting that thing
there.
in the floor or in the ceiling when Dr. Armand came up and found him.
You noticed anything else?
Just before the doctor, administered 200 cc's of fist, the halfling shouted something about it being too late and they would arrive.
They?
I don't know.
And no one noticed him getting in here?
It's like he was invisible.
Rain uses detect magic on the corpse to see if he's carrying any magical equipment.
Armor, daggers, ring, cloak, amulet. All of it is magical, but the magic is fading. Like it was... Well, you have no idea why. Rain's not an enchantress. This is not her strong suit, but... Yeah, magical light gear usually doesn't do that. You okay there, Bonty? Seems like you disconnected from Fancy Grounds.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm here.
Weird. Might be mine having a hiccup.
It does not show his character in the character list for me either.
Might be a connection issue to main. I don't know.
Yeah. It looks like I lost Fantasy Ground. Let me reopen it.
Right. We'll fix that right up. And as Rain is talking to him, she hears a scream from out on the pier.
Well, as the one in front of her is already dead, she is immediately flying out to wherever that scream came from.
Yeah. She does get a shortcut as she sees a small black-clad shape enter through the window on one side of the hospital and exit through the other at a fairly high velocity. Looking out, she can see the fifth and last glyph is on the pier, and there is a huge octopus with a battle axe on its back waving at her from the water.
What? Okay. She stops kind of mid-air, you could say, completely confused. And continues to fly closer, but very carefully.
Do I see this as I'm running around trying to figure out what's going on?
Well, you see the halfling assassin come through the air out the window, one of the windows of the hospital before hitting the ground next to where Belly Tumbler and Ida are standing, and He just looks over at him and steps on him as well.
Having one alive to interrogate would have been great. Anyone got hurt on the pier? Besides
He did.
that one.
You see one of the fishermen waving like, "I'm okay, Gruel saved me." And the octopus kind of waves with 4 or 5 tentacles.
I guess
Aw.
that one is Gruel?
Thankfully, he's not a goldfish anymore.
A goldfish? You guys have to explain things.
We will. We will.
In due time.
We're gonna introduce you. Okay. One thing they all had in common is that they are here, and some of them have said that they are coming, so we need to get ready.
I looked at the one in the hospital, like gladly no one got hurt. He was wearing magical equipment, but the magic was fading. I mean, I don't know a lot about magical equipment, but as far as I know, it's not supposed to fade, right? As
It's not.
the magic, I mean.
Can you check this one as well? I point down to the one we just stomped on.
Yeah, same's happening with those two.
Yeah, the magic's fading as well.
We
Right.
should have had Tasha here to ask her.
I was just about to ask, where's Tarsha at the moment? She's done analyzing things with her uncle and aunt.
Yes. Now that she knows more about the spell, she's gonna turn towards the other two and be like, "Do you think we can disrupt the spell before it finishes?"
No. Amira thinks for a moment, lights herself, or rolls herself some Hollow Faust tobacco and lights it. Maybe if we had the rest of the faculty from the university here, but only the 3 of us, I do not think we would have the power.
Dang it. I surmise that the spell will also keep them from appearing here, disrupting all portal shenanigans.
It does seem like a very effective, very powerful spell to lock us in place until the summoning goes off.
Well, maybe we can at least find out what they are summoning.
Yes, let us talk to the priests. I believe they would be more in tune with the sort of creatures that will be summoned by this.
I mean, yeah.
We should compare notes. It is just good academic sense.
Tasha rolls her eyes, but she knows that Marwan is right, and she's just gonna be like, "Sure, let's meet back at the inn." Wow, I think at some point we really need like a ready room or something. Maybe I should pitch it to the captain.
Right, and exiting the building, you do find the captain and the rest, except maybe Victor, because he seems like he had something he wanted to say.
Yeah, Victor is actually still in the church studying that circle. I rolled a 20 for a total of 29 on my Arcana and a 27 on my Religion.
But then you would have been with us technically because Tasha, Marwan, and Amira were all 3 studying the glyph in the church.
I thought you were in the observatory.
No, that's where we headed out from when everything hell broke loose. And from the closest glyph was the church. So we can compare notes right here. After the DM tells you what you know.
And we should stay together and close, everyone. Perhaps we should go to the church as well.
Staying together sounds like a great idea.
How much consorting with devils has everyone here done?
Lyle just kind of shades his eyes a little bit.
I banished at least one demon, but we're still missing one. There's 6, you were told. We've only found 5.
Yeah, I mean the
Oh.
sixth isn't the sixth one the one that we found in the observatory?
Well, I'll just go ahead and say it.
Alita, the one that Belly Tumble Crush, the second one Belly Tumble Crush, and the hospital. The missing one.
One.
Stay vigilant then.
Yeah, and they may be able to make themselves invisible. That's what the people in the hospital said. They didn't see him coming in at all.
Oh, y'all are speaking of the halflings. I was asking about, like, the hells, devils. The magic that is tied to this is tied to an archdevil, perhaps a duke of the hells themselves. It's
Maybe
one
from
of the short planes.
do you say one of the archdevils?
Perhaps. Hard to tell from here.
Could it be from maybe the 5th plane of hell?
It's the only one that I could think of us having any interactions with as the Red Lions.
Yes, that was the one that was possessing Lyle.
I can tell for sure that this is the guy who we dealt with before. I can feel it.
Well, maybe we can have a conversation.
Not sure I'm really that into talking to him again, but maybe this time we can actually deal with him a bit.
Let's hope we can banish him this time.
No,
the problem is, even if we banish him, that's more of an inconvenience than a permanent solution.
Okay. The lady that some of you haven't met in the very revealing dress says, "We have information, but we need to pool our knowledge at the moment."
Yes. We found out quite a little bit about the glyph ourselves. It is very powerful, and the glyphs must have been concocted by at least 3 archmages using a magical language that is like 1,000 years outdated. We cannot dispel it. Not the 3 of us, not my aunt, uncle, and me. It will take 12 hours for the summoning spell to finish, and then, well, we will have to deal with whatever is coming unless we find another solution.
Dan, you said it was created by mages, but it goes to a demi-plane created by an archdevil of the hells. So could be retribution for not allowing him his host.
Just what we needed, another enemy.
Does anyone know anything of Zebes?
Yes, the tyrants of Thebes. Yeah, now it's Marvan speaking. Their number is unknown, but Holofaust estimates them to be between 12 and 20. All of them archmages. None of them alive, as we know it. Over a millennium old, Thebes is both the poorest and one of the most powerful countries on our home continent. The Archmages control every single movement. Anybody getting close to Zebes or into Zebes will become slaves. The only thing that has kept them from rushing into the rest of the continent and starting a war with the Holofaust itself and the Ebon Coast is the fact that their closest neighbor is the kingdom of the giants. They have so far kept Thebes sealed in. Because no matter how many legions of slaves with magically augmented gear you send into the lands of the giants, well, a company of storm giant knights will still be a force to be reckoned with. But whether or not they have any dealings with devils, we have not been able to confirm.
I can speak with certainty that they have contracts with devils.
Ah, yes, a scion of House Arvandus would know.
Is there something this sword could help you with?
Slaying devils.
I help banish a demon from someone's soul with this sword.
Well, Baron Stongaxe, your sword is an extremely powerful magical weapon. I do not believe you have quite unlocked its full potential yet, but even that blade, I think, cannot pierce the dome of power that's keeping us in.
What if we had multiple powerful weapons?
Then I would suggest gathering them in capable hands and using them to slay whatever Duke of Hell is bound to show up here in roughly... How long would you say, Tasha?
What was the question? Sorry, 1,000 years? I think 1,000 years is the answer.
Sure.
Sorry, I was distracted.
Show up here no, I think it would be more like maybe a couple of hours before the summoning spells
12.
have gathered power.
12 hours. Sorry, I was in my mind trying to figure out how we might gather enough magical power to disrupt the spell. I really do not want to deal with the devil right now.
Well, the rumor says that King Gneise banished the devil once on a bridge.
And you can hear an elven voice as they enter. An archdemon, actually. And he's kind of blushing and, trying to wave it away.
I think if we cannot manage to disrupt the spell, we should maybe prepare for actually killing that archdevil instead of banishing it.
That requires us to either bring the hells to us or for us to go into the hells. You cannot kill planers outside of their plane.
I knew there was a downside to all of this.
A thing to remember, since we all have dreams of god slaying, that involves us invading them.
Can we play a shift?
I don't know. Can we, sorceress?
I can't planar shift us, but maybe my aunt and uncle can.
Then we have some growing to do still.
Oh. Your aunt looks at your uncle. Well, given time to prepare, we could do that. But for some reason, we did not expect to have those spells available for the wedding. We do have a lot of confetti. Clear.
A honeymoon to limbo?
Let's avoid that if we can, please.
However, the two of you seem to have a lot of knowledge about what we will be facing. Perhaps, if we cannot cast our own spells to travel, we can co-opt the doors
I-
they've given us.
I do know the devil's name if it's the one I'm thinking of.
That would be extremely helpful, yes.
Now, Shaw, you're gonna have to remember this one for me because that happened a long time ago. Because my sword told me the name when we banished him when he left Lyle.
Yes, give me a moment and I'll just pull something out here and we'll get that going. Just a short moment, and I gotta consult with my friend the Google.
I didn't write it down because I didn't know the name of the devil. I just knew the name of Ixtab.
If I remember, I put my original monster manual. The name's in there.
There we go. And let's get a whisper off to Efrak here.
I knew you guys have experienced a lot and stuff, but you kind of made powerful enemies.
Yep. We also made powerful friends, though. But yes, we made a few powerful enemies.
We did.
Never a dull moment.
So I do have the name of this devil.
Please, Baron Strong Eyes, share with us.
Would it be safe for me to say his name here?
Well, I fail to see how it could make things worse at the moment.
Speak of the
His
devil,
name
maybe?
is Ditanu.
A shiver runs down Ida's back, and you can hear it just rustle in her wings.
I always hear that the name of a devil gives you power over it. Let's just hope this is true in this case.
But Master Victor, did you say that you can kill them on their own home plane?
You can sure try. Although, note that their existence on the prime materia is just an echo of their home plane, especially for the archdevils. Think like when the gods manifest as an avatar. The avatar is just a fragment of their power.
So what you're saying is we should not go to the hells and try to kill an archdevil because it's mighty difficult.
Consider they also have their entire armies there, and the reality of the plane itself favors their living and is harmful to our existence. It is a tall order. I don't know how well you do with being on fire or frozen, but I don't happen to prefer it.
No, thanks. I think I'll set that one out.
So, I just looked down to my rapier, and according to this thing, he is a relative of mine. He used to be a man of the Empire, a general in the armies. And he was so cruel and brutal that his essence turned from the divine to the infernal. His name was Siarl Betel.
Well, that's good news.
More things as leverage, however, a man being cruel enough to become an archdevil is probably not someone actually willing to make much in the ways of bargains that will favor us.
I mean, maybe he's just angry that you didn't invite him to the wedding and would just invite him to the wedding and everything's gonna be fine, right?
That would be a solution.
I suspect he's in contract with Zebes, and they're trying to find a way out of their little pocket.
And if he is my distant relative, he might have been more of an angel than a man.
If they want to break out from that pocket, wouldn't it make more sense to attack the giants and not here?
Well, they failed to attack the giants for quite some time now. Finding a back door probably much easier than waging a full-out war against one of the most powerful of, races on the planet.
So we have to find a way to shut this door before they materialize, if we can.
Well, it's looking more and more like we're going to have to solve this one, more traditional.
With what? With
You said
grammar?
yourself, we can't kill him. He'll just be banished, and then he'll come back to haunt us and to fight us again. I'd rather have him stone cold dead.
How long is he banished?
Well, the contracts are a difficult word to use. And Amira snaps her fingers and a blackboard appears. And she starts writing down things and pointing with chalk. The Divine Council, when Alir rose to divinity, says that an extraplanar being banished from this world will be banished for 1,000 years and 1 day. However, if they are resummoned by somebody, then they can still enter our plane, just not on their own accord, as they would be able to do if they were not banished.
Which is the logic that they're using to come here in the first place, since he's been banished relatively recently.
He wasn't banished, he was just let loose and taken out of Lyle.
That's fair.
Ah, indeed, if he was thrown out of Master Lyle here, then at least Master Lyle has, well, whatever, 1,000 years and a day minus whatever time has passed since then before he can be possessed again.
That's a good thing to know.
By that one singular devil, not all of them.
Sounds to me like we would be better off finding who is summoning this demon and killing that person instead.
Well, that would require for us to probably go to Zebes, and since we cannot leave this place right now, that might be a little difficult.
It does seem like the fingerprints of Zebes are all over this situation, as they are tyrants and will not give anybody power, but also need to leverage their magical might to enhance their very small but elite armies enough to keep the slave population under their heel. They have perfected a way of enchanting gear where they can sense whether or not the wielder has expired and simply pull the magic back to them, so that their enemies will never be able to pick up or build up a stockpile of magical weapons made by them.
That
Smart.
would
Or,
yeah, that would explain what happens to this equipment here.
That would explain it indeed.
the tyrants of Thebes, of course, are well known for trying and failing for over a millennium to ascend to divinity. But even Yautl, the Lord of Tyrants, refuses to give him their aid as they do not follow his teachings.
And why empower your rivals?
Indeed. As far as we know, Thebes has no access to any divine magic, as none of the gods will allow their followers to aid the tyrants.
So is it safe to assume that Zeebs are the ones sending out agents to kill champions of Aller?
That would be a way to attempt to weaken Aller, and if they're making a play on the gods, then killing the champions would be a way to try to siphon their strength away.
But why start with the strongest?
It seems you should try to make connection to the clergy of the other lords of law to see if they are being targeted in the same way. I take it you do not have too many followers of Yautl living in Luisenthal.
Probably not.
I mean, we usually don't ask people who they are worshipping. We are very much a live and let live society, so
Another thing to bring up is each of us is carrying relics of Godslaying, which also might make us a prime target for the mages of Zebes.
Yeah, if that's what they want, then our arsenal would be a great advantage to them.
I mean, if they also take the responsibility of fulfilling the Arsenal's wish, sure.
There are some people you don't want to give any more power than they have.
I know. I know.
Slavery for everyone on the planet under the Archmages of Zebes, should they get more power, is something we should actively oppose.
We
If
should
they
actively oppose that any day.
if they can draw back power, these glyphs have been of their doing. They only have been applied by the assassins. What if we can use the glyphs to maybe give them like a backlash of their own magic? Is that possible? Tasha starts thinking aloud, basically.
Mm,
That sounds interesting.
And
Or if they really, really don't want us to use their power, if we find a way to siphon from them, they might pull them back.
Maybe.
yeah, and I mean, when they draw back the power from this equipment, it does have to have a connection to them. Can that be used to track them down?
We have long assumed it is one of the reasons they pull their power back so quickly, so that we will not be able to analyze the way they apply their magic.
No, I don't mean to analyze the magic itself, but where it is drawn back to.
Or to taint it.
So as far as I understand, Rain, you want to just find out where the Archmages of Zebes are. I reckon they will still be in Zeeb.
They're not welcome in many places, so I'm guessing that's where they are.
They could be, but don't they? If they are so powerful and want to get out and not maybe trusting others with powerful magic, they maybe they have someone closer to monitor and report. I mean, yes, they know their assassins are dead when the magic is drawn back to them, but they couldn't know if they succeeded beforehand. They have, so don't they need to have someone to monitor?
It's a good question. Can Aunt, can you enter the demiplane of the glyphs?
I think this is a summoning spell, opening a portal from wherever the plane the glyphs are connected to here. I do believe me and your uncle would have the requisite power and stored spells in our wardrobes to open up at least one of these for travel.
If we can fasten an anchor there, we might be able to use that to cause a backlash. I think. But it's more intuitive knowledge than I have never tried it.
Perhaps you are being guided, although quietly, by the power and the staff you wield. Or perhaps you have just become that damn good after leaving Hollowfast. No matter what, we are proud of you, they say and smile at you.
Yeah. Thank you. I just wish certain other people would have been proud of myself or of me as well. But, if they want to be ghosts, good for them, I guess. Now I have to bear the stupid title.
Well, you know your mother. She was a theater kid growing up. Of course they would join the opera, given the chance, even if it does entail being turned into ghosts.
She's not even my real mom.
Hmm.
But well,
They
I
sh-
guess she treated me well enough, so most of the time at least.
They share a bit of a worried look, like, how did you know that?
Well, one of my brothers and I basically poked them long enough until they told me.
Hmm. Did they tell you who your real parents were?
No, they did not tell me who my real mother is. Which is essentially why I left Holocaust, because I was fed up with all the stupidity, them trying to force me into a corset that I didn't want to wear, and also trying to marry me off to my best friend, which was a horrible idea. Yeah. But I mean, I have made, uh, I found new family and definitely enough adventure to tell stories for the rest of my days.
And a much better mate, dare I say. The warrior chiefs of the great jungle expanses will bring much knowledge to the family. And Baldegunda is like, oh.
Yeah, if I ever am angry enough at her to actually introduce her to the rest of the family, yeah.
Well, at least we agree that moving here seems to have been a Clever point. At least you won't have to deal with the whole political situation in Hollowfaust.
How long can I evade that, though, with me being now the Duchess? I guess at some
Well,
point I will have to deal with it.
with Thebes, it seems, stretching their fingers from half a world away towards little Louisenthal here. It may be far sooner than we would wish, but we shall do our best to shield you from those politics for a while longer.
I appreciate that. Remind me to throw a round of Cedric's best schnapps later for you two. Well,
It does seem your liege lord wishes to say something.
Captain.
Also, at the time that we got the devil out of Lyle, you had the shot of a dead goddess in you that was also expelled. Do you remember?
I do. I can still hear Ixtab screams in my in my dreams.
And they were actually fighting each other at the time.
Yeah. They didn't like each other much, I had the feeling.
You had a card of the slain goddess in you.
Yeah. It is unclear when exactly that one was. I think it was something about this is getting this through heritage, through me being a long lost heir to Ixtab or so.
But it manifested after we came back from Whitehaven. It started in Whitehaven and it manifested more when we got back.
Yeah, the necrotic powers in Whitehaven might have accelerated the process, is what I was thinking at least. I mean, if you two, aunt and uncle, know anything more about how I got to be the last heir inheriting Ixtab's powers, if you have any knowledge about that and are willing to share, now is the time.
Oh, you have been to the Whitehaven of old.
Yes, that's where I found this sword and got the glyph that the Lions of Brigadoon was protecting. That is now part of my sword.
I flipped the Whitehaven Thieves Guild coin.
She looks at her husband. He goes, yes, you should. She has actually fulfilled all of the requirements by going to the Whitehaven of old. She smiles, looks at Tasha, snaps her fingers, and after a moment, Tasha is wearing robes of black and a big black hat with like a square on it and a little white blue tassel. By going to the Whitehaven of old, you have fulfilled all the requirements for an honorary professorate at the university in Hollowfaust. My congratulations, she says, and in front of Tasha there's a PhD paper being written by a flying quill, writing down her achievements and confirming that she is an honorary professor at the University of Hollowfaust.
Wait, and professor of what exactly should I be? The professor of experimental sorcery? The professor of I don't even know how to teach people.
Actually, that last one there has already been taken, but I think experimental sorcery is still available.
Sure, why not?
What will happen when the bard gets a hold of this? From your beauty of the lake?
Yeah, I'm gathering title like other people are, I don't know, dirtying the underwear, I suppose.
Professor?
I won't say a word about this to her.
Actually, you can hear from the rafters, and she pops down. I've got something I need to confess.
Sure.
Spit it out.
How how do I put this nicely? I was kind of maybe sent here to spy on you, and then ideally seduce one of your party over to being a follower of the Tanu, because I may not really look like this, and her homely halfling features slide over into looking far, far more beautiful, but with black bat wings growing out of her back, and lots of black and red tattoos covering her body. She's still a halfling, just the sort of wet dream looking halfling every 14-year-old halfling boy has thought about at some point.
So you've been our spy, been spying on us, letting us know about our movements and everything.
Well, I did spy on you for a bit, but then you see, I didn't want to any longer, because y'all are just so dang nice. And besides, I've tried seducing Lyle, I really have. But it just doesn't work. But I see maybe a small itty bitty chance of me redeeming myself. And also, and she takes Lyle's hands and looks him deeply in the eyes. Lyle, I think I'm in love with you.
What's that, Mom? I gotta go. And I'm running.
You see what I gotta contend with here?
Look, this is actually karma right there. I'm sorry. Look, I'm actually sorry. I like you. I'm not really happy that you're a spy, but I believe you. But I'm telling you, you literally picked the most difficult person to seduce in this entire party. But I actually think he likes you.
So do you know what's going on right now then?
Not a lot. I know Titanu wants to he wants your weapons. But he wants your weapons so that he can use them to slay the shard of divinity that was held in Tasha and is being held in you. And she looks at Tasha's aunt.
What?
She's like, what?
Excuse me, what? Can you say that again? I think I misheard that.
The shard of Ixtab.
It's a
Both
shard
of
of
you.
divinity? I mean, I guess she was a
Well,
goddess of undeath. Figures.
a goddess of undeath is still a goddess. It's just, the more good aligned gods are kind of bigoted about it.
Well, I don't have the shard anymore, so.
Victor's gonna say something in a sharp melodic language at the halfling.
Son of a biscuit, I can't remember the name. Yeah, she answers in the same language.
Well, that's a name I wouldn't have expected to hear. Ronnie the Racketeer. More than meets the eye, obviously.
I said it seems like he always leaves just before we're attacked or something happens. I've said it in the past. Certain people call me paranoid. That's a couple times now my paranoia came out true.
The fact that you are paranoid doesn't mean they're not following us.
Well, you're not paranoid. He's actually out to get you.
Me?
All of you. It seems you killed some of his sons in Whitehaven.
What? Oh boy.
Who did we kill in Whitehaven?
We killed undead.
We killed
And
demons.
that big demon that was guarding the portal.
That might not have been a demon.
I did chop off someone's hands too.
And then
Yeah.
the sirens came and took one tent to pull the heads.
Yeah, you kind of killed some of his sons in Whitehaven back then, and he's had about 1,000 years to be really pissed off about it.
So this is going back to Whitehaven again. We weren't even there, but our weapons were.
Well,
From the sounds of it, you were there.
you kind of were there even though you were just visiting, because time... Well, if you're not a demon, it's kind of difficult to explain because you only see in like a couple of dimensions, but for all intents and purposes, you were there.
Lyle's gonna quietly slip back into the room and stand by the wall.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to have much more to say. She's just now sitting quietly sobbing about having disappointed Lyle by being comforted by Gneiss and Illyriel.
Yikes.
This is all a
What
lot.
about Stephen Wolf, the portal that was made? Is that the portal that is still here in this tavern when we went back in time?
Stefan, huh?
We went back in time
Through the
after
portal.
we came to Whitehaven as it is today, the ruin, and then we went through back in time while there.
Oh, that's correct. Yes, okay, you're right. We went there, went right when everything happened 1,000 years ago. What? No, 200 years ago.
1082, I think.
1086, actually.
Wow,
Thank
does it
God.
really matter? Can you stop, smartassing?
No?
Well, when we first arrived there, it was undead. Then something happened, and we went back in time.
We got there, and it's a ruin. And we walked through the city looking for whoever screamed. And
Yeah, we were
then we
looking
were
for
pulled
the
back in time.
we were looking for the hold of the glyph that I have on my weapon now.
And while we were back in time, we were there just before the massacre. Then we went back. The city was overrun with the undead. You found your sword. And then we got back here again.
Yep, that sums it up.
I even have the cat ears to show for it.
So what are we gonna do with all this knowledge now? We still need to interrupt the ritual.
I get startled when Gneiss answers me in Celestial.
Nice.
I mean, it sounds like we're just gonna set a party for whoever comes through that gate, honestly. I don't think we can do anything else about it.
I think we can try the backlash theory.
Let's try that. We have a few hours, and if it doesn't work, we'll have to just sleep on shifts and try to be as ready as we can for tomorrow. Or later today. Gods.
Well, we will need our most powerful spellcasters to open the gate into wherever it is you're going. But we can send. Well, let's see. You, me, she looks at her husband, looks over at King Gnice and King Constantine. The four of us holding it open, we should be able to send 8 of you through, but 8 of whatever's on that other side is going to come through here, so we're going to need somebody providing security on this side as well.
What if I go alone?
No.
I just need to set an anchor. How hard can it be?
In the demiplane created by a Duke of Hell, I'd probably bring a friend or two.
You're definitely not going alone. No way.
Let me get Flint, Mom, and we can set up these dwarfs for defense in here. As I also have them for defense outside in case something this goes sour. I'll be right back.
Something to think about as well, though. If I can tell that this Duke is close and near, I don't know if I should go in there because he might also know that I'm near, and that might just be like an alarm that goes off the minute I step into his plane.
Maybe. Is there a possibility we can just trap whatever's gonna come out of that, well, connection? Can you trap devils? Victor? You're the expert on this.
I mean, you can trap them as well as any planer. If you have an adequate summoning circle and the right amount of resources poured into it, you can hold them in place. But it's more a matter of keeping them in a place long enough to have a conversation and establish summoning contracts.
Can you do
Other
that?
than that, you can. I cannot know. That is something held by higher members.
Shame.
Devil contracts are dangerous.
I wonder if we could find out what the contract with the Zeebs is. If we could find a loophole to exploit.
I don't know if we have enough time for that right now.
Probably not, but
I wish I could help you. The bard sobs, but the contract stops me from doing anything of the sort.
well, you helped by not being a dick and spying on us.
Well, contracts not actually any good.
Couldn't you make a new contract?
Say what? The contract's not what now?
See this subsection right here?
Well, yeah, but I'm not very good with contracts. I do.
Victor sighs deeply.
Other things, she says, and looks over at Lyle and kind of.
Well, whoever wrote this one used a fairly standard run-of-the-mill contract for dealing with succubuses. They were too lazy to write their own. You've got an out if you fall in love.
So, I'm not bound by the contract?
Are you in love with Lyle?
Oh, yes. So much yes.
Then you're not bound by this contract. Of course, then that establishes the problem of now you're here without a contract.
Victor, could you?
We do have a contract for the Red Lions. Hmm?
She
That's
is
contract.
part of Red. We do have a contract. She is part of Red Lions.
But I can't go into a contract with an organization. I need to go into something that would be legally binding with a person.
And it's getting hot in here.
I'm gonna run off and get my mom and dad and try and get the defense going before we head into the portal.
How legally binding are we talking here?
Well, it's more the spirit of the thing, but it needs to be written down between two persons. And it needs to be in established format.
And there's payments in, blood and other forms of sacrifice. There's
What
a
about a wedding
succubus.
contract?
It's a fairly well-known sacrifice required for succubi. They gotta eat.
Well, it's a big sacrifice, but somebody's got it, and then you hear a smack as Illyriel smacks King Nice over the back of the head.
Lyle's gonna go sit down next to him and be like, I feel like I'm being bullied right now. What are we talking about here?
Well, somebody needs to, take care of and feed this poor lost devil. We need somebody responsible and
Lyle,
handsome to take care of it.
Lyle, you're our master cook. I think this is exactly up your alley.
Lady Briar pipes up, like, he already takes good care of Tonka.
Hey, I can get some potatoes or something. Is this like a contract of potatoes?
Yes, jolly halfling potatoes.
Huh.
The normal terms, at least weekly.
So, is that what you want? You want to stay here and help with the Red Lions and do all these things now that your true form is showing and all that?
I can easily just look like the way I looked like as the bard again, but I think I want to do anything that keeps me close to you, Lyle.
I guess we'll have to sit down and work this contract out. Probably something you and I should handle in private, though, because it's a little awkward in here right now.
And on that note, unless anybody really has a scene they want to play out, sorry, but I've got to cut it a bit short today. Because my brain is full of electricity.
Okay. And we will solve the problem then next time.
Yes. So, that just leaves the outro. Thank you all for joining. We'll be back next Sunday with a much less chemically confused GM. But for those of you who haven't already, pop over to Twitch TV /Tolmar /Shiankaisi /Marangana. Smash that like and subscribe button. Gift all of the subs. They are amazing people and amazing streamers and deserve all of the love they can get. Other than that, we will be starting up a Starfinder run on Tuesdays, which we will be dropping more info on Mondays, which we will be dropping more info about. And we have Only War on Tuesdays, featuring a lot of nice players as well. We will be on the upcoming Tuesday. And that is pretty much everything I have got to say. So wave and say bye, everybody. And you all out there, stay safe, stay healthy, and be well. And we will catch you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios,
Bye.
amigos.